Hello everyone, TagoWill here, and today we're going in depth on the strange world of the Room VR, a dark meta. Let's explore the user experience and interactions and analyze the different features that make this game fantastic and others that could be improved. Let's go. The Room VR A Dark Meta is a game made by the UK company called Fireproof Games, where they are known for the mobile puzzle games with the same name, The Room. Players need to unveil mysteries and discover clues by solving logical puzzles and interact with 3D objects. And they saw it was time to dip their fingers into the VR world and create an immersive experience with escape room feeling to it. I must say this game is a perfect candidate to be made for VR devices, having the ability to pick up objects and try to logically use them to progress the story and puzzles. It also transports the user to a magical world where he has been assigned the role of a detective and needs to use his deductions and skills to solve the mystery. It makes perfect sense for this game to be in VR, and I think they saw the same opportunity, make it even more enjoyable and actually tell a story by solving simple puzzles. The first big point goes to the 3D environment and storytelling. This game is unique in the way it presents the visual scenarios and puzzles to the player. It transports you to a new world where you feel familiar with what you are observing. The scenarios are tied to the real-world rooms. The 3D objects, even artifacts, are relatable to what you may have learned with history and documentaries, and everything you are able to see are well detailed, giving a nice polished touch to the entire game. All of this builds up the story the game is telling. In your investigation, you are tasked to find missing persons that disappear by interacting with strange artifacts, and naturally the player finds ways to reach those same artifacts. Moreover, the music and theme added to the game gives the right ambience to the gameplay, making it very enjoyable. It's fantastic how developers are able to tell a story without a single line of dialogue. That itself is embedded to the puzzles and visual cues throughout all the game, and the player is able to pick up and understand the full picture. So big points by making a visual scenario plausible and mysterious, allowing to increase the plausibility and presence illusion and making the player part of this new world. What I have enjoyed the most in the game was the colorful holographic puzzles that the game presents. While the normal ones require the player to pick up objects and insert them in the right locations, or deciphering secret codes by anagrams and analyzing hidden texts, the holographic ones are more special. They require gadgets and some weird handles to solve them. Right here, we see the affordance theory in its full glory. Coined by James Gibson and later on appropriated by Donald Normal in the context of human-machine interactions, affordance theory refers to the actions that are possible and perceived by a user through their past experience, beliefs, and goals. In other words, an object needs to be designed in a way that conveys the right message to the person that is going to use that object, making this theory very important when we talk about VR. The user needs to feel empowered and know how to interact with the virtual environment without the need of any explanation for it. And the VR room does this very well, without presenting any tutorial or audio explanation to the user on how to solve anything. Here's an example. In one of the rooms, the player is required to solve a puzzle that's inside a stone and using an handle. With a quick try and error, the player is able to figure out that the handle will allow to press some tiles, and in their turn, the tiles will rotate 3D objects. To solve the puzzle, he needs to complete the 3D object in a way that represents some ancient Egyptian ruins. Not a single audio or explanation is given to the user at this point. By just using the visual environment that is already conveying the theme is Egyptian, and then a simple try and error allows the user to simply understand how the puzzle works and operates. These two key factors are enough to make the puzzle understandable and the user be able to solve it. Because of that, this is one of my favorite features that VR Room presents. And now let's talk about features that can be improved to make this game even better. So let's start with the free environment exploration. Even though the game is super detailed and amazing to look at, it falls flat when you want to explore the world. Because it uses a teleportation as a locomotion method, it forces the player to go to a specific place. This not only removes the empowerment of the VR player in the world, but also makes predictable where to move next and where it might be the next clue. While I was playing, I feel the need to go anywhere and to be able to explore the different parts of the room, and I wanted to figure out by myself what to do next. It would add more into the exploration and the need to find clues to progress in the level. In my view, a locomotion like arm swing or immersive movement by pressing a button on the controller to move would be more beneficial for this type of games, where exploration is the core component of the gameplay. In my view, the biggest offender comes in the form of 360-degree images placement. Let me explain better this situation. In a certain point of the game, the player gains the ability to shrink themselves to fit into a small area, to reach new parts of the level, or to solve problems inside the objects. When that happens, the previous room is switched to a single 360-degree image to reduce the complexity of the scene and for better game performance. However, this is causing an unexpected nausea symptoms for the player. Because it's a 360-degree image, the user loses the depth perception that normally have with a full render scene. Moreover, it tends to distort the real image to be able to fill all the gaps, as you can see in these images. That is very noticeable. And to make things worse, because everything now is in a 2D plane, the perception of the head movements are different. These abrupt changes doesn't go well with our brains, causing nausea and discomfort feelings to happen. Call it cyber sickness. Cyber sickness is similar to motion sickness and is caused by a sensory mismatch or conflict between signals of our balance system that are being sent to the brain. To avoid this, I argue that it will be better to actually let the full 3D scene to be rendered, or at least a simple version of it. That would allow for the player to still perceive the depth of the objects and movements of the head still be accurate, removing the problem altogether. Finally, a game that the core mechanic is to grab objects to be able to solve puzzles, but in the end only permits the player to grab those specific objects, I believe it destroys the concept altogether. When the user is able to explore freely and try to grab objects and see if they fit, it feels natural that it can grab anything and then figure out later if that object that he grabbed is actually worth it or could be discarded. However, the game only forces the user to go to certain places and grab specific objects to be able to solve the puzzles. That lowers the difficulty of the game itself, as well removes a lot of the mystery and exploration the user could have on this environment. Sometimes the game even doesn't have enough objects in the room to avoid the player to grab them, making it feel very empty. Others, there's a lot of objects, but none are interactable, making the plausibility illusion to collapse and break the player's immersion. One way to avoid this is to allow the user to grab any object that he can find. Implementing the grab feature to any object would avoid this situation. The player is smart enough when grabbing an object and will quickly figure out that he can discard it if that is no useful. And that's it for this video. I recommend that you try the game for yourself if you get the chance and leave comments below. I would like to know what you think about this one. Hope you enjoy it, and if you like content like this, please consider following this channel and share this video. I also do live streams on Twitch, on Sundays normally, playing random games, and if you like, go there and we can have a chat. More videos will come soon, so I will see you on the next video. TagoWill out.